look at each other and smile.
Hey guys, it's Christy.
And Jeremy.
From Last Call For Plastisol.
We're going to hop right back into that episode. But first, we want to talk about our sponsors.
We have the best sponsors. Number one up is Monarch Color. If you guys don't know about Monarch Color yet, check them out. Ian and his team over there, they have a wide array of inks from regular to low cure, and they've got you covered.
Blue Ridge Screen Products is your go-to source to level up your screen printing shop. He's going to be there to walk you through the next levels to move from a manual to an auto and so much more. So check out Blue Ridge Screen Products for all your leveling up shop needs.
Absolutely. Next up is PMI Tape. Andrew and his team at PMI Tape, it's best tape in the game. If you guys want to make your screen printers happy with less residue on your screens, PMI Tape is where it's at.
Kor-Chem chemicals is really good. We use them for about everything for our chemicals. And if you want an eco-friendly approach to cleaning your screens and using on-press products, contact Kor-Chem chemicals.
Yes, and last but not least, our newest sponsor is Print Grip.
Yay, Print Grip. Welcome aboard, Chad and Ben.
You're stuck with us now. Get it?
They're so sensitive, pressure sensitive.
Okay, and now on to the episode. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey guys, today is Thursday, and we are doing an early morning podcast today with Frank from Metro Prints.
Frank, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, guys. Glad to be here.
Thank you for coming down. You're right down the road from us, probably, like 20, 30 minutes away?
Yeah, probably 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, tell us about Metro Prints. What do you guys do? How big of an operation are you?
Is that on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
All right, there we go.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Metro Print. We are screen print and embroidery shop.
Mm-hmm.
Do some DTF. And we're kind of a medium-sized shop. We run 5 autos, 1 manual.
Medium, he says.
And I think we
You're so
run
modest.
62 heads of embroidery.
Oh, wow.
62 heads.
Yeah.
See, I just turned mine up. This is not. Sorry, guys. This is podcast on the fly. Frank, talk a second.
Okay. We have 38 employees, I believe. That varies, obviously, depending on the season.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the slow season. As you guys
Yeah.
know, January and February stinks in the screen print world. But we know good things are coming because sports season's kicking off
Yeah.
in about a couple weeks.
Absolutely. So medium-sized shop, Jeremy.
Right.
We run a baby operation over
yeah.
here with our 16 employees.
Well,
So
think
we're-
about where you were at.
Yeah.
Think about where you're
3,
at.
yeah.
That's yeah. So, yeah, medium-sized shop. Yeah, I guess I can see that. No, you've been in like Perrin and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
mega shops.
Exactly.
Mega shops, yeah.
There are some massive shops in the area.
Yeah. Well, that's a really impressive operation, I think.
Well, thank
I know
you.
you're very modest about what you're doing over there, but 5 autos, 62 heads of embroidery, that's nothing to be modest about.
Yeah. We've
So-
been blessed. I'll say that.
Yeah.
We've been blessed.
So share with us like a little bit about your journey
Okay.
in screen printing.
Mine is really unique because I'm probably different than most people who got in the screen printing business. I never had a desire to be in the screen printing business. In fact, in 2011, we bought a small sign company that had 2 employees, and I bought it from a friend of mine. And little did I know they were weeks away from literally closing the doors forever.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
in terrible shape. So the bar was in the dirt. Praise the Lord, I had another job when I bought this company that I did not give up because we didn't pay ourselves anything for 5 years. So we went 5 years just trying to get this company out of the dirt. And we didn't print any T-shirts until, I think it was 2014, before we went and bought a little manual press out of somebody's backyard.
So you were just doing signs
We were
before
just
that.
doing signs. So we had no embroidery, none of that. Had probably 3 or 4 employees. I bought another company that was another sign shop that was on the brink of going out of business as well. So I guess if you're about to go out of business, call me. I'll buy you. It's kind of the motto on that. But taking the 2 companies and putting them together, I actually ended up with a decent company between the two companies.
Right.
So we kind of fast forwarded. We bought that other company, started printing a few T-shirts. Customers kept asking us, "Hey, would you guys start printing T-shirts?" Because we were already screen printing signs, it was just a natural progression. So we bought the press. People kept coming to us. Then we ended up buying a manual. People kept coming to us, and it just kind of organically took off.
Isn't that interesting? Like, okay, but you knew nothing about screen printing, but people were like, we want to buy screen printed shirts from you too. Right?
Absolutely. We had a customer base, probably 400 customers, a bunch of little customers.
Yeah.
But that gave us a huge opportunity. Once they found out we were doing shirts, it was just natural. Oh, well, I'll buy my shirts from you.
And how did you get the word out that you were doing shirts to those customers that you already had?
Pretty much when they came in the door, we said, "Hey, by the way, do you know we're doing apparel now? We're screen printing." And that just kind of took off and took a life of its own just from people finding out.
You know what? That's a really good point. I don't think enough of us just tell people what we do.
True.
Or like if we add a service, we've even talked about it here. Like, does anybody know we do stickers?
Mm-hmm.
And then we start telling people, and everybody wants stickers after that. And it just kind of spirals. So
it is amazing. It's so much easier to sell to people you're already selling to than to try to go find a new customer. And that's our philosophy, is sell them everything we can to that same customer. We've already got the relationship. We don't have to grow our customer base, but we can grow our sales through different things they buy. And we've added on promotional products to do that very same thing. It's just an easy sale. It's low-hanging fruit. Just grab it.
It really is. Cross-selling is the name of the game. So you guys have recently acquired another business too?
The end of 2021, we purchased another company in Charlotte, and the gentleman who owned that company had owned it for 45 years. He basically, the building got sold out from underneath him. He's 70-something years old, and he said, "I don't want to move all this." It was 20,000 square feet that we had to dig in and move, and it was no fun.
Wow.
But because of that situation, I felt like I got a really good deal on the company. My desire was to grow the business, and this was a great opportunity. We doubled overnight. It was boom. We went from 18 employees to 36 employees overnight, and it was a bit of a nightmare. But we we survived it. We
We've
struggled.
been going through that.
We doubled overnight too, and you just kind of hang on, but it is a nightmare at times.
It is. You enjoy the ride. You find out when you do that how woefully lacking you are in processes. That's what we discovered, is like doubling overnight, it shows every wart you've got comes to light really quickly. And we experienced that, and we really hurt ourselves. We went backwards, I know, from a customer standpoint, because we let a lot of customers down. And then we spent last year trying to fix that, and we did. We were able to come out of that, and we're working very hard on some new structural things and an entrepreneurial operating system that we're implementing, which is a game changer for us in the size company we are now. But I'm not above buying other companies, but be careful.
Yeah. So you mentioned some challenges you had. How do you get out of a pickle like that when you realize that you've messed up with the customer base, and now you got to make it right? Like, what, can you share with us anything that you did, like, specifically to make it right with those customers?
Fired people.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
We had a thing here where I kept saying every Monday we fire somebody. We're kind of getting out of that zone now.
So explain the rationale behind that. I mean, it's is it,
well, we
people
had,
set in their ways?
People set in their ways, just not doing a good job. We had, I always call it the wrong butt in the wrong seat. And we had some people in our customer care team that were just not good at what they were doing. They were good people, thought the world of them, but they're just not good at that job. And they were and they were just letting our customers down, not getting back with them, not communicating with them, and it's just unacceptable. And so I had to let some people go that I really, really liked from a personal side. But and I had to sit down and share, this is not the right job for you. I need to let you go for your benefit. You need to go find another job, and this is what I think you need to do.
Yeah. That's really smart, and I think that's a great piece of advice. We've moved some people around on our team here, and me coming in as another owner, seeing somebody in a certain position, I'm like, why are we trying to fit a square peg into a round hole? This person is not good at this. They need to be doing something else, but they have skills. Fortunately for us, some people have skills that we can still use in other departments here.
Absolutely.
But I think really knowing your employees and evaluating what their strengths are and like seeing them for who they are is really important.
Absolutely.
Did you see anything in the other company that you wanted to implement in your business with the, operationally wise or, structurally wise, or maybe just out in the shop?
No, not really.
No.
I saw honestly, I saw a
Yeah.
lot of things I didn't want to do
Okay.
with
That's
that shop.
important
That's
too.
important.
And
yeah.
they had been doing a lot of things great and had a very successful company for a long time. But it's not how I wanted to run a business. But I want to go back to your point about people and culture is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm much more concerned about the person we bring in being the right fit for the company. We'll figure out where they fit in the company.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll teach them what we want them to know if they're willing and have a great attitude.
Yeah.
Right.
I tell everybody I hire, you will be fired for one reason only immediately, and that's your attitude.
Yeah.
We'll teach you anything you want to know, but if your attitude stinks, you're out the door because you're not
Yeah.
bringing my shop down.
Yep.
Hire a person instead of a position.
That's what we do.
I like that tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what other values do you hold dear as Metro Prince, or your company culture? What things are important to you?
Well, ironically, we're going through that right now. We're
Okay.
working on our core values, mission, and vision statement.
We just did that too.
That's fun. And so we really, number one, our core values, the one thing we set up is every core value that we are implementing is not something that we aspire to be. It's something that we can judge our employees on.
Mm-hmm.
So, commitment. Are you committed to the company? That's something we can judge you on.
Right.
Are you committed, not committed? Do we need you to work overtime? Are you going to jump in and help us with that?
Right.
So we want it to be something tangible that they get either a plus/minus, or a minus on.
Okay.
And so every evaluation that we go through, that's how they get evaluated on our core values. And same thing with our management team. We get judged on that. And we've had some hard conversations
Right.
with our management team for each one of us, but I love it. Iron sharpens iron. And so we can have some open meetings. If I got the right people, we can disagree,
Yeah.
have great conversations,
Yep.
but really help each other grow.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all about, is trying to help each other, push each other forward to get better at what we're doing.
I love that. So commitment is one of your core values. What
It
other
is.
ones are you exploring right now?
Well, one of we're working on this next week is our mission statement. And the thing that we always talk about in our shop is we have got to under-promise and over-deliver because people in our industry don't do it.
They don't.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean,
Right.
because you miss one event and see what happens.
Yeah.
When somebody's got some big event and you've promised them it's going to be there and then it doesn't happen. So we preach to our customer care team all the time is do not promise anything you think we are not going to hit.
Yep.
That will get us killed. I said, tell them the bad news up front. We
Yeah.
can't do it. Tell them, I'm sorry. We can't do this. Give them an opportunity to do something else. Sometimes they'll stay with you. But then if you can over-deliver on that and give it to them the date that they really wanted it on, you look like a hero instead
Yeah.
of a heel when you don't do it.
You do. And clear is kind when it comes to
It's
customers.
kind. I like that.
Clear is kind. It's okay to say no because clear is kind.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
good. I don't remember that. I'll use that one.
It's okay to say no is what I was preaching all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys got to say no. It's okay. You
It's
don't have to-
okay.
But you
It's okay.
guys know in our industry, people don't do that.
No.
Yeah. No.
Because we always say if you will take care of the customers that walk in your door, you never have to sell anything because they're going to do it for you, number one. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to go out and do some things, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. In theory, if you take care of your customers, you don't have to worry about them leaving you.
Right.
Correct.
And we're kind of competitors, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah.
But we don't worry about that. You guys
No.
take care
No.
of your customer, we take care of ours, and it's
Yeah.
fine.
It is completely
One thing,
fine.
one
Yeah.
thing that Frank shared with me over lunch was that we were talking about how he met the person that he just acquired the shop from in 2021,
Okay.
and I knew that same person in the same way. So we were both going to him because he could embroider from Sanmar. He could embroider
That's right.
North Face. and you had to back that. I think you still have to.
You do. We actually have that certificate.
We now have it,
Yeah.
right? But it took a while to get to that status. So we were both going to the same guy, and that's the only right. That's
absolutely.
basically just a relationship that just developed from there, right?
The funny thing was, I always wanted to meet the gentleman because he was kind of a legend in the industry. I mean, he'd been around so long. And I call him the Godfather type thing.
Yeah.
And I found out we'd sent something over to them to be embroidered, and it was ready. And I said, "Oh, let me go pick it up. I want to meet this guy." And I did. I walked in the door and I asked for him, and he came out, and we started a relationship, kind of like you and I did, just kind of getting to know each other, go to lunch occasionally, this or that or the other. And then through the course of a bunch of different lunches, he hit me with, "Hey, I'd like for you to buy my company." Yeah. I laughed at him. I said, "Sir, I don't have any money.
Yeah.
I'm broke. Everything I've got's in my business." And but he kept after me. And finally, I said, "Well, let's go to the bank."
You liked him well enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? I mean, I ran into the same situation with Sandy as well. Just meeting her, and you know her as well, right? Yeah. It's just the relationships in the industry. It's we almost thought it wasn't happening as much, but it seems to be catching on. Yeah,
I think it's this thing nobody wants to talk about. Like, oh, I have print homies. Like, we seem to be the only one that like proud to have print homies everywhere. You know,
we call them print homies.
I love it. I'm a print homie now.
You are.
You are a print homie.
You are, and I would offer you some coffee, but you've already had 50 coffees
I've
this
had
morning.
my fill, for sure.
What time? Go ahead. What time? I was going to say, what time you get up in the morning to have 50 coffees already?
Oh, well, since I was coming down here this morning trying to avoid Charlotte traffic, I was probably up at 5:30, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all right.
What do you drink in your coffee?
0.
Me too.
Yeah, it's black.
Yeah,
Black.
pure.
Yeah. True coffee drinkers.
Yeah, black like my soul.
Oh, come on.
I'm not going to say what I want to say. So, all right, you've acquired. We've talked about that. You kept on mentioning your customer care team. I like the name of that. Like, I like that approach. It's not sales or inside sales. It's customer care.
Are they different jobs, or
they?
is customer care also sales?
Same. It's all the same. It's inside sales, customer service, call it whatever you want. But our focus is really we want to take it to a different level. We want them to be friends with our customers and get to know them, spend a little bit more time, not be rushed. And I think it's really important that you have enough people in that world, because that is the face of the company. There's no more important position in our company than our customer care team members.
You are so
We
right.
spend more time and more energy on that role than anything else. They can make you or break you, and I've seen that firsthand, and I've been broken by some bad ones, and we refuse to let that happen again.
So you have a training process for them, or is it?
We have an onboarding process. Okay. It takes someone probably 5 or 6 months to become a customer care team member that's on their own.
Okay.
So we don't let them go till we feel like they're fully trained. I shouldn't say that. They're taking calls and fielding calls much earlier than 6 months. But we try to put them in the plant to go to embroidery, screen print, learn the process, understand the issues that come up in that world first, so that when they sit on the side of the desk when they're talking to customers, they understand what they're selling. They understand what an underlay is. They understand, that this DST file is no good and we need to get a new DST file done. Or we just want them to be able to speak intelligently to the customer about what's going on, what the issues might be, and just know how to sell them and guide them in the right direction of, you don't want to print that way. It's not going to show up the way you think it's going to because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah. I really like that. And you know what? It shows an investment in people. You're not just filling a seat. You want them to be a part of your team for a long time if you're going through that intense of a training just to get up to what your job's going to be eventually.
And right now they're all going through training on how to ask for referrals, how to get 5-star reviews. So we've got a trainer that's coming in, and we've spent quite a bit of money for her to work with them, to make phone calls with them, to give them scripts, to really just make them better at what they're doing. And that's an investment in them, whether they stay with us or they go somewhere else. This is a skill set that they'll be able to take with them for life.
Yeah. You can always find a sales job if you're
Yes,
good at sales.
That's right.
So that's really important. So where did you find the person to come in and help train your staff on these key skills?
Okay, great question. I am a member of a group called C12, and people probably never heard of it. Jeremy's heard of it. We talked about that. And it's a Christian CEO organization. And I'm a member of one in Davidson, North Carolina. And we have about 12 members. That's C12. And they're kind of like my board of directors. They really give me a lot of guidance. We help each other. We visit each other's plants. We go through each other's books. So you get evaluated on everything. And there's a lot of resources there. So I was able to reach out through that group to find the sales trainer. That Some of my people had used them and highly recommended them. So that's how I found them.
Any other training that you or groups that you yourself are going through to make yourself a better CEO of your company?
That's the primary one because that takes a lot of time. That's a one full day a month of training, and then other events during that month that go along with the C12. But I'm a reader. I read a lot of books. I'm just passionate about it. And so, and most people don't like to read, but I enjoy reading. So I read almost every book that I hear of that I think is going to be good for me. Let me go ahead and make a pitch. As you're growing a business, you got to get a book called Who, Not How.
Yep.
It's game changer.
Okay.
Game changer in your world to learn how to empower other people to do things so that you can work on your business instead of in it.
Yep. Yeah, and we've been going through that exercise, me personally, for about 6 months now, and then Christy coming on board kind of ramped all of that up, and we actually jumped in that training like way ahead, almost to the point where we got burned out.
Yep.
So how do you keep? Do you have a balance of keeping it not so corporate in what's pretty much a laid back business or anything like that? Is it hard to? That's a hard question. Yeah, I'm just because I think
it's something we're going through.
It's
here.
something that we're going through here, where I feel like I get so driven by the numbers that I forget to be the person. I forget the relationships.
100% understand where you're coming from, because we are driven by numbers.
Right.
Numbers have got to make sense, or we can't do what we do. You've got to turn a profit, and you've got to prepare for January and February financially.
Absolutely.
That you've got to have some money stored up to get through these months. So it is hard to get in the weeds and be focused on that and forget about the people. But I think balance is the key. Yeah. Family, work life, and it is so important to stroke your employees. You know that. I mean, you got to give them attaboys. That's worth more than money to them. And so we try to spend a lot of time making sure we focus and talk to all of our people. My first part of my day is I don't go sit at my desk till I've spoken to everybody in the shop.
That's a really
good thing to do. So I go around and take time and speak to everybody and tell them good morning, how you doing, how's your weekend, whatever. Yeah. So that's just a ritual that I go through every day. My wife does a really good job. She handles all of our accounting and bookkeeping, and she gets people emailing her from our customer care team and that kind of thing. And she always is stroking people. Hey, thank you for what you do. We couldn't do this without you. And she does a really good job of that. I really appreciate her for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really good tip for people.
Yeah, for sure.
So we are we've talked about this a little bit, but me and Jeremy and Jill are currently looking for a new space because we are outgrowing this space quickly. And it's been really challenging for us to really forward think, because moving's very expensive and we just want to move one more time. We don't want to move and then we hit another growth period and then have to move, knowing that obviously that may happen, but we want to kind of prevent that. We want to move one more time. So, but we also don't want to be in too big of a space where we're in over our heads right away. So for a shop like ours that's at this critical point of having to move, how would you suggest that we evaluate a building, evaluate our space needs, any of those sorts of things? That's
a great question, and we're dealing with the same thing now because of our growth and where we want to go. And do you rent? Do you buy? Do you build? There's so many options here, and I don't think any of them are wrong. You guys obviously need more space. You're growing. I think you're in 6,000 and looking to double,
Yep.
which I think is
That's what we think we want.
Yeah.
I would say, knowing you guys, get more than you think you're going to need.
Right.
Don't hesitate. Don't be afraid, because your business is going to grow. It already is growing. You've got so much traction down here in this Rock Hill area, and this area is blowing up. Don't be afraid to get 2,000 or 3,000 more square feet of what you think you need. That would be my recommendation.
It's a mindset for us. Like I think we're trying to justify what we're currently doing because the numbers are right in front of our face, right?
Yep.
And then trying to forecast, and then the what ifs, and you start to get into that little mad little circle in your mind about, like, that kind of that loop that we talked about, Christy, where you're just kind of like doubting, and then then you're doubting if you're doubting, you're in all these crazy mindsets, and it's in the but the reality is every time we've grown, we've run out of space.
Here, I heard
it's been natural.
Greatest thing yesterday. I just heard this yesterday. A guy was talking about this, and he said, we cannot live in the land of what ifs. We have to live in the land of what is. And what is? You guys are growing.
Yeah.
You're going. You've got to just go with it. You can't let the what ifs bog you down, because if you do, you're going to be paralyzed. You'll never do anything.
It's very easy to get bogged down by the what
Yeah,
ifs.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like one of our core values is family and work-life balance. And so we've met a lot of screen printing shop owners. We've been very blessed to meet a bunch of people and get a bunch of opinions of how people have run their business and stuff. And some people just don't like their job anymore, and it's very important for us to create an environment and a growth trajectory where we have all the right things in place to still like our jobs. We know it might not happen, but we don't want to set ourselves up for misery.
Right.
You don't. And there was a time when I almost sold my business because I hated going to work every day. Yeah. And it hit me one day. I said, man, I can fix this. I can get rid of the people I don't like and bring in people that I do like. And so Frank Harrison, who is the CEO of Coca-Cola, his motto is culture eats everything. And so everything they do and hire on is based on culture. And so we've tried to adapt that. Again, when we're hiring people, we want them to be people that mesh with the team. I want people, it's very important for me, for people to enjoy coming to work on Monday. Now, granted, it's work. It's work. But we don't want them to be on Sunday night going, oh, no, I've got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's the culture we're trying to create. And if we've got somebody in our shop that's ruining that culture, they're gone.
Okay.
They're gone.
That's really interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the growth or the work that ruins things. It's the culture created by all of that. So
That's
if
what
you
I
can
think.
control the culture,
Yeah.
you should be good to go.
Yes.
Right. And that's where
It
I felt
helps a
like,
lot.
I mean, admittedly, that's where I was, that's what got me to where I'm at. But then I abandoned it almost to a point in my mind because the numbers were, overtook that. And I had to get back to, no, this is about relationships, and I'm failing in my relationships because I'm too focused, on the numbers. So,
But I
it is
understand
a
that.
balance.
I
It is a
really
balance,
understand
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So what other kind of things besides picking the right people, and you've given a tip about going around in the morning, checking in on everybody. Do you guys do any employee events? Do you celebrate people? Do you have like bonus structures? What kind of other things do you do to create a great culture?
We, family's everything for us.
Okay.
And every person we hire, we tell them that your family's your number one priority. It's not the shop. If your child has field trips, we expect you to go on those field trips. This will be here when you get back. Mm-hmm. If you have grandchildren that are doing something at school, we want you to go to those events. My family is my priority, and I expect it to be the same for my employees. And we give them the latitude and leeway to do that.
Okay.
And there's no kickback. We don't frown on them for doing those things. We encourage those things, and they appreciate that. We have almost zero turnover. We do not
That's
turn over
awesome.
people hardly at all. We've got the same printers we've had for years and years. We try to pay them well. We don't do bonus structure, but we do try to pay them hourly very well. And we try to give them a lot of latitude and flexibility to be who they need to be with their families.
Okay. And have you ever had anybody like maybe take advantage of that situation, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, we've definitely had people. I'm trying to think of an instance, and I can't think of one, but I'm sure people have taken advantage of it. But people have got to deal with their own conscience on that. I'm not going to try to be the conscience police on that. If they're going to take advantage, they're going to take advantage. And if it became something that we recognize, we would probably deal with. But I don't think anybody's gone overboard to take advantage of that. We have, during this flu season and everything, we've had a lot of people out with their kids. And we just tell them, don't worry about it. You just take what time you need. Be with your kids and get them better, and then get back in here when you can.
Okay.
And so they appreciate that a whole lot, because they were like, hey, we're at other companies. They're like beating us down to get in there. You got to do this.
Yeah.
But we take a pretty light hand on that.
Okay. I like that approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, you're here. I know yesterday you said you were golfing. So somebody's running the shop right now, and you've entrusted them to run that shop right now. So,
Okay.
how do you get people motivated and bought into doing that?
The right people, the right butts, the right seats. I am at a point now where I could be gone for a month.
Okay.
Oh,
And it would
dreamy.
not.
Yeah.
It would not
I think a
impact
lot
anything.
of shop owners aspire to that.
Yeah. And that was my aspiration, is to get the right butts and the right seats with my management team, where when I'm gone, they're not calling me on my cell phone unless it's an emergency. But they know he's gone. We're not dealing with him. We handle it. And I really am truly blessed with really good people.
Yeah,
It's-
that's awesome.
It's I keep on saying it's interesting, but I'm looking at us. You've already said that you've never been a printer. You pretty much don't know how to operate the equipment and all that stuff, right? You're just a business guy that just happened to like screen printing at some point.
Well,
But
and it wasn't even that. I just wanted to own my own business. I didn't care what it was. That was the odd thing, is so I never thought about screen printing,
right.
or whatever.
Well, and so I think of like how hard it is for screen printers at home and in their own industries to back off of actually screen printing.
Yes.
And get their hands out of production.
Yes.
And your hands were never in production, so you've almost delegated your entire business career, other people doing that. So now you can just hands off, walk away. So delegation's huge, right? Finding the right people
100%.
that you trust, right?
Well, here's what I'll say about that, because when you go into a business, you always have to think about the end in mind. Getting in a business is easy. Getting out of the business is where it becomes complicated.
It is. Yep.
So you've got to start thinking about that. So my thoughts were, like a lot of small shop owners, if I am the business, if everybody comes to me for everything, customers come to me, if I'm running production and know how to print, number one, when we get busy, I'm going to be printing on the weekends instead of home with my family, because it's got to be done. You know how it is when you can do it. Oh, man, this got to get done. I've got to go out there and do it. So my goal was, I'm never going to learn that, because I don't want to do that. So I just said, not doing it.
Interesting.
I'm not
I
learning.
don't think a lot of people would take that approach.
They would not take that approach. But by the same token, I'm running into a lot of small shop owners who've taken that approach. Now they want to sell their business. Well, the problem is they are the business.
Yeah.
Without them, there's no business.
Yep.
And I never wanted to be that way. Now, my succession plan has changed because of my children, and they're in the business, and they're really thriving and doing well,
Awesome.
and taking ownership of that thing. But my goal originally was always, I'm going to build this thing up and I'm going to sell it. But I don't need it to be based on me being there to sell it. I need it to be a self-sustainable running business that somebody wants, that they could buy and be a remote owner if they wanted to be.
Yeah. So can you give some quick tips about like easy things that a shop owner that might be in the business, owner operator, things that they could do to start stepping away a little bit?
Yeah, I can. First thing I would tell them, take the thing you hate to do most and find somebody to do it.
Okay.
I mean, just take that thing that you dread every day and get somebody else to do it for you. Start there. And then keep building it up. All right?
Okay.
They've got that one out of the way. Now, and it may be somebody within the organization already that can handle it. But here's the other part is when you delegate that, you've got to let them do it. Do not look over their shoulder and tell them why they're not doing it the way you need to do it. Now, you can give some instruction and guidance, but when you give them responsibility, it's their responsibility now. You can judge them based on what they do, but let them do the job. They're going to do it differently than you, not how you would do it, but let it play out. Let them take it off your plate. Let it play out.
Yeah. What's the first thing you gave away, Christy? You had somebody else do. What was the one thing you hated to do?
Oh, screen printing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not a screen printer?
No.
Oh, okay.
Doing the same thing all day long. Have you met me?
Yeah, but I was just curious.
Yeah.
What did you think she was going to say?
Screens.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
reclaiming
no.
screens.
Reclaiming screens.
I'll be back there jamming my tunes.
I've seen you do that. Yeah.
I can deal with that. Like, I wouldn't want to do it all day, every day, but like if somebody called out in the screen room, I'm like, I'm there.
Yeah.
I love that.
I bet you 90% of the print homies is probably screens, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely pulling the squeegee all day, like, and just standing there. Same thing.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Well, some people dive into the hand, like this is handmade art. And it is. Listen, you have to be somewhat of an artist to pull a manual squeegee. Mm-hmm. You got to know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to, muscle feel, all that
but
stuff.
But like running an auto all day?
No, that's a button pusher. So yeah, it's funny. I actually I gave a tour one time, and somebody was walking through, and I was like, the manual printer, like she's the artist here. She's got all that. She's got to think about all through each step by step, the type of pressure and everything. And then the other guy that was working the auto, he goes, "I'm the monkey pushing buttons over here on the auto." I'm not, And I was like, pretty much. Yep. The only technical thing you got is if the shirts are burning or you putting the shirt on right or straight or not.
Yeah.
So it is. I couldn't stand in an auto all day. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think that's when we moved to having an auto. That's when it became less fun for me in that regard.
Yeah. So you said the one thing you hate, but what about the one thing that takes up your most time? I mean, have you ever for me that was art. Like I was so bogged down in one thing that like my business coach was like, you have to get that off your plate, Yeah. Is there anything you think of that you were just bogged down in that you just needed to push off?
Yeah, sales.
Okay.
100%. And I'm a sales guy, and that's hard for me to say that I need to back away from sales. But the reason I need to do it is I've got people in the community who know me are calling me.
Yep.
Well, here's the reality of it is I'm not real good at customer care.
Right.
So I'm kind of like big picture guy, And so I needed to get out of that. And I decided to start diverting everything. The people I knew that call me, who know me personally, I'm like, here, you don't want me. You really want somebody who's going to take care of you. And it's not me. And that was kind of hard to start doing, but really that helped me so much to get freed up. Now, I always say I work on three things. I work on things that are big, things that are broken, and things that are new. That's my job. That's it.
Big, broken, or new.
Big, broken, or new.
I've
and
got
that is
three
what
of
I
those
work
on my plate right now.
There you go. And it will keep you busy. So it's not like you're not going to do anything because you've always got something going on. But that's my focus.
So
if it gets outside of
what's new for Metro Print? What's coming?
New right now is we are, of course, implementing our entrepreneurial operating system, which is huge. I highly suggest people look into that. There's a size you've got to be to make that worthwhile. But it's a book called Getting a Grip that you could read that talks to you about how to go through that process. So that's really a main focus right now. And then number two, I'm always working on sales. It's in my blood, and it's not me going out to sell, but I'm always like, how can I help my team hit more people?
That's good.
And so I focus a lot of my time and energy on that.
Okay.
And then next is we are, like you guys, we're seriously thinking about building a building. And what does that look like? So I'm going to start meeting with some architects and that kind of thing just to see what it is we need. Now, here you've got a connection on that, by the way.
An architect?
No, builder.
Building.
Oh, yeah. My dad's in commercial real estate.
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
so.
he's all into that right now.
with the metal buildings as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a firm believer in metal buildings. He keeps trying to get us to do one too, and I'm like, Dad, we need land to put the building on.
And that's the other thing too is I know we talked about purchasing and acquisition and stuff, and you were saying that you're looking into that right now.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is it for you to find a building nowadays in the area that you're operating? Is that important to you?
Well, here's what I've told my family. This building a building's not for me, it's for my kids.
Okay.
I'm really never going to see the benefit of that probably in my lifetime due to my age, but it'll be great for them and set them up for their future. So we're looking at 8 acres right now, close to where we're at, and I think we're going to look maybe 40,000 square feet. I think is what we're going to try to build. I think, again, I haven't looked at the numbers and got the numbers on this yet, but
we won't hold you to it.
no, but it's gonna be the next biggest investment because they're probably talking $4 or $5 million to build that.
Wow.
So that's kind of what we're thinking, but again, we'll see.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Yeah, we got to a point where we're like looking at really big buildings and shells, like you're saying. Basically, you know, and empty shells, and going, oh my gosh, what's the upfit cost going to be? And I don't even know what it's going to be. You know,
We
I
don't
asked
even know
him,
where to start.
I asked Frank what his was, and he's like, I mean, just for moving in the one place, it was 150 or something.
Yeah, we spent moving from the shop in Charlotte, and I had a shop in Mount Holly, and we opened another shop. I had 2 shops now in Mount Holly. Just one's embroidery shop, and one screen print shop. But it cost us probably close to $200,000 to move.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
So it was not cheap to move. And so if you're thinking about moving, and again, we had a lot of equipment. So, but yeah, it was all about the electrical and the plumbing and all that fun stuff that you don't think about when you've got to move in.
Yeah.
And that was zero upfitting offices or anything. That nothing on that.
Right. Is that a scary thing?
Yeah. That's a very scary thing.
Yeah.
Very
So
scary.
how do you handle the stress from scary things?
You know, well, that's a great question. Number one, I'm blessed with a great family and a wife of 33 years who gets me.
That's awesome.
And she also is the reins that holds me back because she's the financial person. Praise God for her, or we'd be broke because I would have spent us into oblivion. How do I handle that? That's a really good question. I mean, obviously, I'm probably a simple-minded guy, which helps.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but I don't stress out too much over things. I have a lot of faith that God had got His hand in our business, and He is in control of what really ultimately happens in our business. I've got a job to do as the steward of that business, but I feel like ultimately He's going to drive it. It's going to become whatever He wants it to be, and we'll just try to honor Him with what we do. We support a lot of ministries through the business, which we're really excited about doing, and we're trying to be much more involved in the community and give back to the community. And that's probably the most exciting thing about my business is the opportunities to give.
Right.
And I'm so grateful that we can do that. And don't get me wrong, we didn't. Starting out, we couldn't do any of that.
You're still a for-profit business.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's the fun part, and that keeps me grounded too.
Yeah.
So,
I like that, and even when you were talking about it, you lit up a little bit in your face, you know, just talking about that. And I think that, you know, Jeremy and I, when we were making our mission and vision, I told him, like, it needs to be something more than just a screen printing business for me to feel good and feel passionate about coming to work every day. Absolutely. You know, and it's like, for us, it's what are we giving to our employees and what are we giving to our community?
That's right.
And that's something I can get behind. I can sell shirts all day for that purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
And that makes it a whole lot more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, money's one thing, and it's great. We need it to live, but ultimately, it's not the thing that's going to fill that hole in our soul. So,
great. So you were asking what is new. I immediately in my head went to like equipment.
Oh,
right.
Did you?
I immediately went. I'm like, well, what is? How do you feel? Like, how do you feel about all the new equipment coming out? How do you feel about the technologies? direct to film. I mean, there's these things that are now in play in your industry that
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, we just purchased 20 more heads of embroidery. We just bought
Of course.
a
No big
12
deal.
and an 8 head,
Yeah.
a Baradin. And I'm a big
Oh,
Baradin
I
fan.
love
so
Baradins, yeah.
we're fans, and I bought Baradins because of Sandy Britt. So I can
Okay.
just always grateful for her for guiding me in that direction. We've really been thrilled. And we run Jajimas and Baradins, but the new ones, we went with Baradins. They're really good on hats.
And do you do new Baradins or do you try to find used
We
ones?
did brand new this
Okay.
time. So I've bought used and I've bought new. So there's a great guy down in Louisiana called Baradin Refurbishing, David down there, and he does a great job. He'll bring them in and totally gut them, redo them, and you can buy them for significantly less money, and he
Yeah.
guarantees them. And he's a great guy, easy to
Yeah.
work with. So
I bought a used one from a guy in Texas,
Okay.
Dylan, that does the same thing,
Gotcha.
and they completely gut them. So they're like new machines, just a little
yeah,
older looking on the outside.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And I did it this time because of availability. We need to spend some money at the end of the year, so we did that.
We all
so
do,
we
yeah.
took, you understand that. So what was the original question? We kind of
Well,
went down.
I was just like
equipment.
equipment, and then back to like some of the in my mind, like were we bringing in new, and I just went to equipment, and
You mentioned DTF, which
DTF,
is
yeah.
really the hottest thing going, and we don't want to do DTF ourselves, but I want a partner, which we're developing partnerships that'll do it for us, and we'll press it on. It really helps us, as you guys know, on these really short runs where people are, need 10 or 12 of something, and you sure don't want to set up to print 4 colors on 10 shirts.
yeah,
It is a nightmare.
It is.
So we also do a lot of company stores. You guys probably do that as well.
yeah.
we do.
And that helps
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
the,
there.
It's the bane of our existence, though. I think
I hate
it's
it.
they're
Really,
I don't like
Now-
it at all.
we got into it, and we have nothing. We hired a girl, and all she does is build stores for us. That's her only job. She builds and fulfills stores,
That's-
so we don't deal with it.
It is a full time job.
It
It is.
seems
That's-
to be.
Excuse me. Doing the stores, ordering the garments, closing it out, fulfilling them. It is full time.
Yeah.
So you
So
need
we just
somebody
get
to-
rid of it and have somebody else do it.
So you just like leaned into it hardcore and like you're like this one person, this is their job.
Yeah.
It is, and we have been successful by trying to be ahead of the game. Customer care team, I always try to have somebody in training so that we can handle the growth.
Okay.
Because I need my customer care team to not rush through customers. They need to be able to take time with them to get the details, to develop a relationship with them. And that's hard to do if I've got them so overwhelmed with a backlog of stuff they can't get to in a
Yeah.
day. And so that's where we really, again, make a lot of investment in and making sure we've got more there than we need.
Yeah.
So do you currently bring them in house then? Do you use in like a Supercolor or anything like that for direct to film or?
We've got a
Installs,
guy
transfers,
in
and-
Charlotte that does our DTF for us
Okay.
as
Do you
well.
use Ibrahim?
No, but I've got him
I
thanks
love
to
him.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
and we may go to the other. We're trying to help a customer of ours that buys
Sure.
from us. We're trying to
Yeah.
work things out, and hopefully we can. But if he's new in it, and that's hard,
Yeah,
so
it is.
we may be going to Ibrahim.
Ibrahim at DTFNC, shout out. He
Yeah.
is wonderful. Great customer service.
Yeah.
And he's in
And-
Charlotte if you're here.
And honestly, they're all getting really good. I know that
They are.
Supercolors now just went down to no minimums, so
Wow, that's nice.
yeah,
Really?
no minimums. So you can order one now from
Mm-hmm.
them. I mean, you're probably going to pay more in
awesome.
shipping than you would for the actual
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
But that's nice because I think for the biggest thing, are you using numbering systems or anything like that?
We press on all numbers.
You press
Just
on
about.
stalls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what's cool is I was like, man, all you're stuck with is what they have available. And last year I went to shows going, hey, are you guys coming out with any other cool numbering systems? Installs is the only one that has it. Nobody else has a numbering system. Well, in DTF, if there's no minimums, you don't have to order a sheet of 10 number 10s.
Yeah.
You can order 1 through 10 and that's it,
Yeah.
right? So that's great. So now you
That's
can actually
wonderful.
do some custom better font numbers that last just as long. So I that's one thing that I'm looking forward to with these short run,
Yeah.
like 0 minimums or whatever.
So let me ask you guys a question. Y'all ask me a lot, so I'm going to ask you guys a question. What is your ideal customer? What are you guys looking for?
Christy?
Ooh, I like ones that want to build a relationship, that want me to invest in their business as much as they want to invest in mine. I don't like price shoppers.
Amen.
Because I'm going to give you excellent customer service. I'm going to be at your events. I'm going to like your Instagram. I'm going to be all in it. So I
Nice.
don't want somebody that's going to nickel and dime me.
Okay.
So that's number one.
Okay.
And that really, it doesn't matter if you just want to do 12 shirts at once or 400 shirts at once. For me,
Okay.
it's about the relationship.
Okay.
We are equally invested in creating a community where we're both successful.
Okay. Wow. That's a great elevator speech
Yeah.
right there. That was good stuff.
Equally invested.
You've worked on that.
I have.
Equally invested. I like that.
Yeah.
Mine is just I want somebody that's looking to start a clothing line and just wants one sample.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm sure that's exactly what
I am walking out the door right now.
And how many companies?
That's my worst nightmare.
How many companies, printing companies, are starting a clothing line in January this year because they have nothing to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Big mistake.
We have talked about that before. Like, don't freak out because you're slow. Don't start a clothing line.
Sounds like Frank's heard that podcast.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did hear that podcast. But it's so true because
is.
everybody gets tempted. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah,
But,
we were printing some employee shirts last month, and somebody said we should sell these. I was like, you can sell them.
Yeah.
I'm not
No.
selling
Yeah.
them.
Well, we're getting about to be to the end of our time here.
Okay.
Oh, I've got a question.
Yeah.
You have one.
Go ahead.
So we always ask somebody what is their passion and what is their purpose. So Frank, today, February 15th, 2024, what is your passion and what is your purpose?
Well,
They're different.
my motto, I don't know if I'm going to answer this exactly how you think, but my motto is be the difference.
Ooh, I like
Okay.
that.
And I've got hats I wear all the time, say be the difference. I don't have one on today, but that's my motto in life. And because of the situation I'm in with the work now, I have a lot of time that I can give away, and I do that. I work with a group in Gastonia called Least of These Carolinas, and they are a foster care organization that helps foster families. And so that's near and dear to my heart, passionate about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also got another good friend who does a group called Links Players, and he sets up fellowships at different golf courses around the area, and basically have men's groups. They get together, or women's, it's both, and they get together, and I'm pretty passionate about that. So my purpose right now for me is just help others. It's not about me anymore. I'm kind of old enough that I don't have to show or prove anything. I'm not looking to buy a house or a beach house or any of that stuff. I just want to finish well in
I like
life.
that.
And that's what I'm striving to do right now.
Pretty cool.
Absolutely. How can people get a hold of Metro Print? How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah. If you'll go to metroprint.inc, kind of like you guys, you got
Yeah,
the dot
got
ink.
the
I love
INK.
that, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
always have to tell people .ink.
Okay.
You can find us there if you see the podcast and you want to get in touch with me. Just go on there, get the number, call, and ask for me. And if I can help you in any way, I'll be glad to. I mean, I love sitting down
Awesome.
talking to other people and sharing with them my thoughts on things. If you need to learn how a print process or something like that, don't call me. Can't help you there. But if you're struggling with your business and just want to talk to somebody and said, hey, what do you think? What should I do? You know, I'd love to talk to you. I'll be glad to have lunch with you, sit down, have you in our shop, whatever. So any way I could be a resource for somebody, I would be glad to do it.
Frank is a good person to go to lunch with. You may not make it to your next appointment because we get to talking, and but he is just a guy that we met, just that wanted to, get to know us, through and buying a piece of equipment. But
Yeah.
you came in, and so yeah, don't be afraid to get to know the people in your area. You got these great resources like Frank that can, willing to help you out and not here to compete with you.
Thank you guys for your podcast.
Thank you.
I have really, really enjoyed watching the episodes. And just thank you for being open for people to kind of create a community in the screen printing world that everybody is so divided and feels like we're all competing. And I really hope that through this podcast that kind of dissipates and people will share with each other and just make friends in the industry. You're going to need help at some point in
You
time.
are,
Everybody's going to
yeah.
need help. And so make some friends. Don't go it alone.
And another great opportunity to make friends, our friends at P&M Apparel are hosting Flyover Con in April. And we're going to be emceeing.
We're going to be there.
Oh,
And Flyover
cool.
Con, have you heard of it
No.
before? So it is hosted by Anatol.
I don't think anybody has, Chris.
Here we go.
Here, you're going to hear about it today. So Flyover Con, it's in Des Moines.
It's in Iowa.
I don't-
It's the little.
I don't know a
it's a
lot
little
of
state
middle
that
of
you
the
fly
country states.
over on the way to everywhere
Yeah,
else.
that's why it's called Flyover Con. So Ryan and Megan, they own P&M Apparel. We've had them on the podcast before, but they are hosting an open house with Anatol, and it's really going to be a gathering of printers to
Yeah.
talk like we talked today, just shoot ideas back and forth, support each other, make print homies. It's going to be a great event.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. And you're invited if you want to go.
I've got 2 golf outings in April. I probably won't make it.
All right.
I know it's awful,
Well,
but
Frank, thanks for being on the show today.
wow,
It
thank
was a
you
pleasure.
guys
Nice
so
to meet
much.
you.
Very nice to meet you.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.